Welcome back to another episode of the Lofty Lenders Homebuyer Education, where we explore tips, tricks, and stories that can help you plan for your next home purchase. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer, a move-up buyer, an investor, or just looking to learn, we hope you gain a little knowledge today. So Charlie and I, we recently went on a little trip. We went to United Wholesale Mortgage, which is one of the largest names in the wholesale lending industry, and it's one of the investors that we work with to sell our loans to. And we just wanted to come to you today as a fairly unstructured conversation about what we talked about last week, what we learned, what we took away, and how we're going to be able to use that information to provide more value to our customers. So, Charlie, how did you feel about the trip overall?
I'm going to move to Detroit. I mean, they're totally colder than us, and commutes are crazier than us.
Fair. Okay. Yeah.
It was good, though. It's nice to get out. One, it was really fun that we had more people from our office there. Normally, it's just you and I going somewhere. So it was great to have that camaraderie. And at the same time, everybody hears a little bit of a different piece in a presentation. So having that comparing notes and writing down what we learned, it's always nice. I love doing that stuff.
I just want to set the visual for those that are listening. So if you think about, the Des Moines area, a lot of people know about Wells Fargo, and especially when Wells Fargo was a lot bigger. There were campuses all over town. You had the Jordan Creek Parkway one, you had the one over on Vista, you had one downtown, you had the Belle Ave, you had all these different properties that were kind of spread all around town. That's kind of like what United Wholesale Mortgage is, except it's all on one campus. And they've got a walkway, a skywalk that connects the majority of everything together. And it's insane how big this is.
It goes over the major roadway. I mean, this is not a walkway connecting two buildings like downtown Des Moines where you've got skywalk and two buildings. It's crazy. It's a long walk.
They said they had 9,500 people working in office on their campus. That's incredible. That's a little city right there.
Yeah. And very few that are out of office. I mean, they really have people in the office versus satellite.
Yep. So now you understand what it was that we walked into here. And so as far as why we went up there, so United Wholesale Mortgage is one of the companies we work with and sell a lot of loans to. And you might even have your loan serviced by United Wholesale. And you might know them more prominently as just UWM. But they've got some awesome tools on their website as far as consumer. My mortgage payment goes through there. You can hop in, use calculators, that kind of stuff. But they also just have a lot of cool stuff there on property. They actually have like a whole tech center. They had an area we walked through that there was Xboxes and PlayStations, and people can just kind of hang out and relax when they're between work. They had a basketball court, so they have a lot of fairly competitive basketball games that go on between some of the employees. And I believe even the CEO himself plays once in a while. He's a former Michigan State player. Mateen Cleaves back in the day. So pretty awesome experience to go out and check that out.
And I think he builds a lot with that camaraderie and the teamwork and the positivity. I mean, it's really, whether you like one big company or not, everybody has their pros and cons, but it's really cool to get into their culture and see what they're trying to do and provide that as, good customers, seeing the forefront of what's available on the technology side, the partners like us, and then just really trying to help their employees out. And at the same time, the community around them. It's really impressive what they took over a giant old facility that was not being used, and they're employing 9,500 people. That's pretty impressive.
Well, yeah, and the fact that our account executive told us that they even have a doctor's office there in case he gets sick, he needs to go to the doctor, he can just stay on campus. It's crazy. So we went out there with a couple other of our colleagues, and they put us up in a hotel, and other than the HVAC system being down while we were trying to sleep, which was horrible for the first couple of nights.
A little toasty.
Who knew that, it's a little cold outside, but somehow it stayed nice and warm inside our hotel. But no, it was an awesome experience and a good time being out there. And Detroit is just huge. I mean, the fact that they are on the northwest side of town, and I think the airport must be on the south side, and we just had to drive forever, it felt like, just trying to get to our hotel. But
it was fine until there was traffic, and then once she stopped.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Anyways, Kyle got suckered into driving. Good job, Kyle.
Yeah, first experience with Turo, and it was a pretty good experience, but I had to work as a driving, right? Instead of like being able to work on my phone. So some people enjoyed it. I personally, being the driver, I would probably just opt for Uber next time, so that way I can work on my phone while riding in a 50-minute car ride. But it was fine. So anyways, the reason we went out there was to see the people, to make connections with the people that we work with a lot, but also to do a couple of days with their VA course. I'm just refinishing and refreshing with what we already talked to our consumers about a lot. VA has just a lot of unique ways to do things. And it was an awesome opportunity to just meet other loan officers that were there from all over the country that had other experiences and that could share just, unique examples that we hardly ever see here in Iowa, or maybe we do see them in Iowa. I just haven't seen it because there's just so many one-off scenarios.
It is interesting. And when I've done the annual convention down in Vegas for NAM, or we go out to DC for different pieces on the political side, hearing all the different events that happen in other states, how well they're attended, what they talk about, the different conversations, but then just the deals. When you take and have a very specific nuance in a construction deal, or in this case, we're going to talk more about the VA. There's just those little pieces that you don't come across all the time, and those nuances and how it was handled, what worked, what didn't work, and shortcuts to avoid some headaches. It's really interesting to hear how different companies work, and sometimes it's that compliance group, or it's that specific borrower that had a really weird midlife crisis in the middle of their transaction that just made for some challenges. So the camaraderie there is really cool.
So what was something that you took away from that class? Obviously, we've been doing this for quite a while as far as lending, and you've been in this industry for quite some time, but I feel like there's always just a little nugget that you can gather when you're hanging out and being around other loan officers.
It is. Yeah, I think the biggest thing I took out is if you have the partners, and this goes between consumers and us and the realtor, us and the underwriter, having those key partners in place that really are trying for the best outcome, and everybody is basically being graded, paid, just judged based upon their performance. If everybody is really looking to try and have the best result for the consumer, then we all win. And I think that's one of the things we really look at, our partnerships with the investors that we partner with. Really, that's exactly it. We want to have some of the best rates in town, always be competitive on rates and costs. But beyond that, there's so much more. And having underwriters who know what they're doing, account reps who are willing to step in, just having the processor assist type things, like when there's a condo, or we have a challenge on insurance, or whatever the case may be, new job and income that's just a little bit goofy. Having the people that know what they're doing or know how to take that next step and elevate to a senior that really wants to see success, especially in the VA. That's a veteran benefit they've earned. That's not something that's just given to all of us. They've put a lot on the line to get that benefit. So it's really cool to see those success goals, not limitation goals where someone's trying to find a problem, they're trying to find a solution.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I think the biggest thing was, honestly, they had a couple of underwriters that came in and talked to us during the class, and they kind of went over just, everybody submitted some questions as far as, here's a unique scenario. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? So they came in and they're underwriters. They're not people that are on the phone all day long. So they came in with very pointed answers specific to that scenario. They tried to expand it, to, well, and this might impact other things too, but they were answering a question. They were not looking at a file, but at the same time, they are, like I say, not necessarily people that like to get up and present all the time either. So it was kind of comical, but at the same time, what I did take away from that was they're willing to really look at anything. And I think that really goes for VA underwriters in general, whether it's with UWM or any other investor out 100%. There. The VA has given them the authority to really, if there's a way to make it work, and if there is a legal way to make everything happen, the VA is usually okay with it. And then it just becomes whether or not the investor is okay with that. There's really, there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of cool things to do. And there's really a great way to honor our veterans. And one of those, the VA website specifically states that you can't use future income. However, the underwriter said, well, as long as they're moving into that property within 60 days, they're taking that job within 60 days, we could use it. Now, every situation is going to be a little different. Your situation, you listening to this saying, well, I'm starting a new job in 60 days, so that'll be perfect. I can do it. May not work. Who knows? But the fact that they said it can, and there's an opportunity here. I have somebody who's looking at starting a job in 6 months. I got to wait 4 months now instead of making him wait 6 months. That's great.
Well, and that goes to the point of every piece of underwriting for all programs. They're just gauging risk. And so the less risk, the easier the answer. And when there's more unknown or more inconsistencies, then that puts that risk meter up. We're talking more about VA, which, again, that's more of a benefit. They want to see the veteran get where they want to go, but they still have to gauge that risk and make sure that all this stuff is going to be okay. Because the last thing you want to see for any borrower is having the borrower in a bad position where now they're in a hole they can't get out of. Nobody wants that. It's just the rules are set up so goofy that it does not always help when there's a challenge that is like yours. You're going to be out 6 months. But as a military person, you know when your duty's done. And so you're trying to plan ahead. So there's that little bit of a give and take. And it's nice to know when something does make sense. How do we take and get them in good order in the least amount of time and least amount of stress?
And I think that oftentimes, unfortunately, the few things that end up being the most major problems when it comes to loans maybe not getting through is due to the way you calculate income. And it was really cool to see that UWM has actually created a tool where you upload the pay stubs and it will calculate the income all for you. So you can figure out what the underwriter is going to use for UWM. And you know, they offer those tools to us for any loan. So if we decide not to take the loan there, heaven forbid for their sake, but they offer it as a tool to us. So we can use that to take to other investors as well. It's just an opportunity to make sure that, you know, I think I know what your income is. I throw it in here. It confirms it or denies it. I rationalize whether or not I like my income versus theirs, or I can explain it to the underwriter. AI is not going to be perfect. But the fact that it's there and it gives us that opportunity, I think that's just, it's hugely beneficial. And the fact that they give that to us no matter whether we take the loan to them or not.
And I think that's one reason we appreciate this so much when it's our partners doing this for us, because that's really what we shoot to do with each of our consumers. When you're on our desk, we're not here to sell you on how, don't look anywhere else, it's just us. We want to be the one that you pick. We want to earn your business because our pricing and our rates, but our service and our answers, and not just the mortgage, but your overall financial position, we're helping make sure that you are confident and as solid as you can be. And sometimes that's where we refer it out. You and I have talked about this how many times? That's what I like about UWM is like, hey, we've got the tools. We'd love you to send the stuff to us. But you know what? If we're not the right fit, we still want to give you the tools so you can be as effective as possible. And then we want to earn your business where we can. So that dynamic really is, you know, it's what we want day by day. We're a trusted advisor for all the people we talk to. And then it's nice to know that we have those trusted advisors and have people really pouring in resources to us to help pass those along to every consumer and client that we get to deal with.
Yep. So I think there's mainly three key takeaways from all this, and I think about these takeaways as being part of UWM, but also from a lot of the other people that we work with. I think we've got a lot of awesome account reps that we work with throughout all the different investors and underwriters. And this isn't to say that we only have one good investor. We have a lot of great ones, but these were just the ones that brought us up to Detroit and that beautiful city to explore. First one is efficiency and communication matter more than ever. Honestly, I think that having that ability to communicate, UWM is really good about, they have to make their calls. They call us probably once every week, maybe more than that, maybe less than that. It's a lot, but they're constantly calling and they're constantly asking, what else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? So it's a good, positive way to communicate. But like I say, the other investors we work with, they're also very good at communicating, and it helps make our lives easier because that's why we use them is they're good at communicating with us. So helps us communicate with you.
We have account reps and underwriters. If we don't have partners that have that ability to have that conversation, we typically choose not to use them because it does impede where we're at and what we can do for the right answers in a good, quick, concise amount of time.
Yep. Second one is technology is only as good as the people behind it. I look at that and say there are so many systems that you and I use with every investor we work with all the different stuff we have on our computers. We have to do so many things. If I've got somebody, like you just said, that I can call up and I can say, hey, the system is down. Can you please help me figure this out? Or I can't figure out what button to choose or whatever. The technology is only as good as those people that are going to be able to step in and help out.
Yep. And it's great when it works. The challenge is when it doesn't work. Do you have that ability to jump around and get where you need to go without just, I'll twiddle my thumbs, wait till it reboots?
It's not fun. And finally, education and continuous improvement keep clients winning. So UWM is notorious for pushing stuff out. So are a couple of the other investors that we work with, like First Colony and a mortgage boutique and a few others. They're always trying to push out new information, new education, anything they can give to us to help us be better informed and to help consumers what they're looking for, right? They're looking to provide knowledge, provide value so that we can use that information and make sure that for your specific situation, we're giving you the best that's out there. So I truly felt like walking away from UWM that education piece and just knowing that they're going to have my back and so many of the other investors are as well. Nice to have.
There's some people we've worked with my entire career. Now, they're not at the same place, but that relationship goes far because we know when we ask a question, they're not just going to give us lip service and say, yeah, send it to me. Like, hey, no, that's not up our alley and here's why. Or it's, no, we know right where that's at. And that's the key. Nobody wants lip service with the answer that sounds shiny and pretty, and then you get kicked in the shins later. We want the right answer up front. And when it's easy, great. But most everything we deal with, everybody's got challenges in life. So we want to just make sure those puzzle pieces fit together and you got the right partners that are helping out.
Any other takeaways from you before we wrap this up?
And other than, I think every time we fly, we still get delayed. So, hey, thanks, TSA. We appreciate all your efforts, but at the same time, between weather and mechanicals, always leave some leeway. Just like when we're giving pre-approvals, we're going to be a little conservative just in case it's a surprise. Same
we
thing
need
goes
to come
for
up with like a pre-check for pre-approvals, right? Like a little check mark or I don't know, something like that. Because we were supposed to have pre-check. A little side story here. Charlie and I were supposed to both have pre-check on our boarding passes, but UWM sets that up for us, and the person setting it up must not have realized that we have that. So we didn't get the pre-check, which Des Moines Airport, no big deal. We were through that in 2 minutes.
fine.
And honestly, the Detroit Airport was fairly quick as well. But
they did a good job.
it's just one more
We
thing.
still got patted down a little more than we needed to. I mean, apparently we both look pretty dangerous.
No, it's because I'm so tall, Charlie. They told me
I'm
that
not
I
as
don't
tall as
fit
you.
the...
I still got the same scan.
You don't fit the mold, nor do I. I definitely don't fit the mold. Apparently, where
that's
my
an easy one.
midsection is at is higher than most people's midsection, whatever that's worth.
Oh, it's so funny.
All right,
Once
well,
we
we
were
hope
done, it was not funny while we did it.
that's true. I was not enjoying
Not
that.
impressed.
Would you like a private room, Charlie, to be patted down?
Nah, right here in public. Hit me. I'm ready.
Oh, dear. Well, we hope you enjoyed the conversation and found it valuable today. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms and subscribe to the podcast. Check out our website if you would. We're going to be, I'm posting blog posts each week, and would love to have you check that out as well. And let us know if you have any questions. Would love to answer those through a blog and really post more information that makes sense for you listening. So thanks
Or
again.
if you'd like to be on here or have a topic we cover, we're up to ideas.
Ooh, guest ideas. I like it. All right. We'll talk to you next week. Have a great week.
Cheers.